Hold up, is 50 Cent really gearing up to drop a Surviving T.I. and Tiny style documentary the same way he did with Diddy? Today, we're breaking down the growing tension between 50 Cent and T.I. and the big question everyone keeps asking. Listen to this. Before we go any further, I'm not going to assume y'all have been following every twist in this drama. Right, so let me rewind it for you real quick. T.I. has been doing a whole run of interviews lately, because he's out here promoting new music and pushing his latest album. And honestly, I'm still confused about the comedy thing, because remember when he was supposed to drop that comedy special dressed like Eddie Murphy in the red leather suit from the 80s? Yeah, that whole situation just disappeared like it never happened. But anyway, during these interviews, he keeps bringing up how he and 50 Cent were supposed to face off in a versus battle. And 50 Cent basically responded like, "Listen, let me make this clear. Stop bringing it up. That versus is not happening. You hear me?" But T.I. kept pressing the issue. Yes, he kept pushing it. Then, in one of his most recent interviews, he claimed that behind the scenes, 50 Cent had actually agreed to the versus. And that's the moment things really exploded, because 50 started firing back online with memes and posts about Tiny. And from there, it turned into a full-blown back and forth. T.I. dropped multiple diss songs, his son King even jumped in and released records too, and suddenly a bunch of celebrities started showing public support for T.I. and Tiny. But here's where it gets interesting. They started posting pictures of Tiny to show love and solidarity, people like Lonely Love and Tina Knowles, and that's when 50 Cent got heated again and posted a picture of Tina Knowles while taking shots at her appearance. And just like that, the post disappeared. Gone. Probably before the Bayhive could really lock in on him. You already know how that goes. But wait, it didn't stop there. In one of the diss tracks, somebody basically asked, "How are you going to attack Tiny?" Then they brought up his mother. Yes, his late mother.
And even commented on digging her up from the grave. Next thing you know, people like Rick Ross and others are showing up wearing t-shirts with images that allegedly show 50 Cent's mom from years ago. You see where this is going? Old photos and everything. And the situation kept escalating. It turned messy really fast, like seriously messy. And through all of this, 50 Cent still hasn't dropped a single new song. I told y'all before, 50 is not releasing music unless there's a serious bag attached. Because let's be real, he makes way more money performing at New Year's Eve events or even private weddings for powerful political circles. So those are the moments when you're actually going to hear him perform his music. But as far as jumping back into rap beef with new tracks, ask Jim Jones, ask Fabulous, ask Mano what kind of response they got from him. Exactly, nothing. It was never going to happen. Instead, what 50 would do is act like the beef was finished, delete the posts about T.I. and Tiny, and then shift focus to promoting his business moves, like upcoming shows, movies, and even a Broadway project, while talking about chasing that EGOT path. Then out of nowhere, he revives the drama again and posts another disrespectful image of Tiny that seems aimed at mocking her appearance. And the last time he did something like that, he was allegedly joking about whether she had cosmetic work done on other parts of her body. Now, since all of this blew up, T.I. has done more interviews where he says he's not really trying to attack 50 Cent personally. According to him, this is about defending his family and, most importantly, standing up for his wife. Hold up, now 50 Cent is back in the headlines again, and this time he's hinting that a whole documentary about T.I. and Tiny might actually be in the works. Listen to this. According to reports picked up by Complex, 50 Cent is suggesting he may be developing a documentary centered around the serious sexual abuse allegations that have followed T.I. and his wife Tiny Harris for years. And if you remember, this wouldn't be the first time Fifth stepped into the documentary world. He previously served as an executive producer on the Diddy documentary series, The Making of a Bad Boy, the Diddy Story-style projects, including the series Sean Combs' The Reckoning. So now people are wondering, are we about to see the same playbook again? Here's what things get interesting. 50 Cent jumped on Instagram and posted a screenshot of a headline claiming he's developing a documentary about T.I. and Tiny, who have been accused of sexual misconduct by more than 30 women. And the caption? Oh, he was definitely talking spicy. He wrote something along the lines of, "Remember how quiet I got before the Diddy doc dropped? Dame thought I wasn't coming." Then he added another line that had people raising their eyebrows. "I hope this doesn't mess up your promo tour. They're going to start asking about those 20 SA cases. You might want to talk to a crisis PR person." Yeah, you see how he slid that in there. Now let's rewind for a second, because this situation didn't start yesterday. Back in 2021, a woman named Sabrina Peterson publicly accused T.I. of threatening her with a gun during an incident that allegedly happened in 2009. And once those accusations went public, things escalated fast. Within a couple of months, more than 30 women, and even one man, came forward claiming that T.I. and Tiny had allegedly drugged, kidnapped, intimidated, or sexually assaulted them in incidents that reportedly took place in both California and Georgia. Those accusations were serious, and they shook the entertainment industry for a minute, but T.I. and Tiny have consistently denied all of those allegations. Now here's the part some people forget. These tensions between 50 Cent and T.I. didn't just start with this documentary talk. Their issues actually go way back. The first major clash happened in 2007, when 50 Cent publicly labeled T.I. a snitch. From there, the tension simmered for years, with both sides throwing subtle shots. Then around 2020, T.I. started pushing hard for them to do a versus battle, saying he was confident he could beat 50 in a hit-for-hit matchup. But 50 Cent never really entertained the idea seriously. Fast forward to earlier this year, and the situation flared up again. T.I. publicly called out 50 for refusing to do the battle. In response, 50 Cent started taking shots, sometimes directly at T.I., and sometimes by bringing up his family. That's when things really got messy, because T.I.'s son King Harris even jumped into the conversation musically. T.I. himself dropped a couple of diss tracks aimed at 50 Cent. But here's the interesting part. 50 still hasn't responded with a diss record of his own. And if you've been watching how 50 moves lately, that might not be surprising. Instead of music, 50 Cent has been focusing most of his creative energy on television and film. Over the past few years, he's built an entire empire producing shows, including the wildly successful Power franchise and its multiple spin-offs. On top of that, he's been producing documentary content as well, including projects centered around the allegations against Diddy, someone he's also been calling out on social media for a long time. So when he teases a documentary about T.I. and Tiny, people are taking it seriously, because this is exactly the lane he's been moving in lately.
But let me be real with y'all for a second. I completely understand T.I. and even his son, King, stepping up to defend Tiny and protect their family. That part makes sense. But at the same time, if another documentary really does come out about any of these major rappers or entertainment figures, it raises a bigger question. Because when you start hearing multiple allegations and stories from different people over the years, it makes people wonder who knew what and when. Remember, T.I. and Tiny actually lost their VH1 show Family Hustle after those allegations surfaced, and the show has never returned to the network. And let's be honest, none of these situations exist in a vacuum. When you start looking at the broader circle of people involved in the music industry over the past 2 decades, there are a lot of powerful figures whose names keep coming up around controversial stories. We've seen documentaries about Diddy, we've seen the downfall of R. Kelly, and there are still other people connected to that era who have never been fully examined publicly. So if a T.I. and Tiny documentary actually happens, it's going to open up a lot of conversations that some people might not be comfortable having. But here's something social media has made very clear. People tend to pick and choose when they want to be outraged. Seriously, watch how the internet reacts depending on who the celebrity is. If it's someone fans love, people will bend over backwards to defend them or ignore the allegations. But if it's someone they already disliked, suddenly everybody becomes a detective overnight, dragging every detail back into the spotlight. That's what I call selective outrage, and if this documentary ever drops, we're about to see exactly who stands where. Because right now, we don't even know if this documentary is just a threat, or if it's already being developed behind the scenes. And honestly, that uncertainty might be the most uncomfortable part of this whole situation. With the Diddy documentary, there were rumors for a while before it officially surfaced, so people are wondering if 50 Cent is playing the same long game here. And let's be real, 50 is one of the most strategic trolls in entertainment. When he posts something like that, there's usually a reason. Some people think this might go deeper than just rap beef. Personally, I wouldn't be surprised if there's a business angle somewhere in the background. Maybe there was a deal that was supposed to happen involving T.I. and 50 Cent. Maybe the versus battle was supposed to open doors for something bigger that never materialized. And when deals fall apart in the entertainment industry, relationships can get ugly fast. That's why some observers think the real tension might actually come down to money or missed opportunities. Now, at the same time, I think 2 things can be true here. On one hand, a lot of people feel like 50 Cent crosses the line when he starts bringing women into these beefs, posting pictures, making jokes about appearances, and going after wives or girlfriends. Some people see that as low-hanging fruit. If the issue is with T.I., then keep the energy with T.I. On the other hand, we also can't ignore the fact that many celebrities have been accused over the years of doing things behind the scenes that eventually catch up to them.
Because here's the reality of fame and power. When someone reaches a certain level of success, money, influence, connections, they sometimes start believing they're untouchable. They think the rules don't apply to them anymore. As long as the hits keep coming and the money keeps flowing, they assume nobody will ever hold them accountable. But history keeps showing us that eventually, the spotlight catches up with everyone. And that's where ego becomes dangerous. When arrogance takes over, people stop thinking about the long-term consequences of their actions. They stop seeing the bigger picture. They start believing they're bigger than the system itself. But the truth is, nobody is bigger than the program. Eventually, by the truth, whatever it is, always has a way of surfacing. So right now, we'll have to wait and see how this plays out. Is 50 Cent serious about producing a documentary about T.I. and Tiny? Or is this just another psychological move in a long-running feud? Either way, if something like that actually drops, you already know it's going to dominate headlines. But I want to hear from y'all. Would you watch a T.I. and Tiny documentary produced by 50 Cent? And here's another question. Do you think somebody will eventually flip the script and make a documentary about 50 Cent himself? Because let's be honest, nobody in this industry is completely clean. And what do you make of this entire beef? Because somehow, even while running multiple businesses, producing TV shows, and building an entertainment empire, 50 Cent still finds time to troll half the industry on social media. At this point, you'd think somebody powerful would step in and tell him to chill. But maybe they don't care. And if you really think about it, maybe the reason they don't care is because of who he's targeting. Did you catch that? Maybe they don't care as long as he's not coming after them. Anyway, y'all already know what to do. Drop your thoughts in the comments, don't forget to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and hit the notification bell so you don't miss the next breakdown. And with that said, I'll catch y'all in the next one.